I've been building automations and businesses systems for the past 3 years for both my business and clients. And I've made every mistake you can possibly imagine when it comes to selling your solutions. But once I figured out these 3 specific problems that every automation freelancer or agency owner faces, we started closing more deals, projects became easier to deliver, and we started getting paid a whole lot more. See, I'm not talking about getting lucky with a few clients. I'm talking about a systemic approach that works no matter what industry you're working with. If you've been struggling to sell your end-to-end skills, your make.com expertise, or really any AI automation service, and you're tired of hearing, "We'll think about it," this video will change everything for you. Because the problem isn't your technical skills. The problem isn't that businesses don't need automation. The problem is these 3 things that nobody really talks about. Here's the first problem. And honestly, this is the one that took me the longest to figure out. You're probably making the same mistake I made for years. You're trying to sell the wrong thing. You're selling end-to-end workflows or make.com integrations. You're selling your technical expertise. And businesses, they don't really care about any of that. I had a client who runs a digital marketing agency. When we first pitched them, I was excited about the solution. I said, "Hey, I can build you this amazing end-to-end workflow that connects your CRM to your email and marketing platforms, some conditional logic based on what you want, some webhooks and an API integrations with all the software that you want." And you know what they said? "That sounds interesting. We'll think about it." A week went by, then another one, then another one. And it became pretty obvious that it wasn't really a priority for them. Here's what I ultimately learned that completely changed how I approach this. Everything businesses care about can be categorized into 3 buckets: making more revenue, opening up capacity, or reducing costs. That's it. If I had gone back to that lead and said, "We'll set you up a system that lets you respond to leads in under 2 minutes instead of 2 hours, automatically qualifies them for you, and then books them into your calendar, and then based on your current close rate, you'll close 20 to 30% more leads, meaning that you'll make an additional 15K per month in revenue," that would have worked a whole lot better. See how much stronger that positioning actually is? Think about it. Lawyers don't sell businesses on contracts because they write them on Google Docs. Businesses only care about results, not the tools that you use to deliver them. Instead of talking about nodes and workflow, start talking about how I can help you capture 40% more leads from your website, or how I can reduce your invoice processing from 3 days to 3 minutes, or maybe how I can help you follow automatically with every single prospect. See the difference? You're not just selling automations, you're selling more revenue, more capacity, or fewer expenses. But how do you actually know what results you can promise? That requires research, which leads us to the second massive problem, the scoping paradox. And this one honestly made me feel like giving up on the automation business entirely at some point. To give an accurate quote and timeline for a custom automation project, you need to spend time upfront. You need to audit their process, map out their workflows, understand their systems, and figure out the integrations. Sometimes it can take up to 8 hours just to scope properly so that you have something to sell. But here's the problem. If you spend all that time and actually don't close the deal, you just wasted 8 hours. But if you don't spend enough time scoping, you're going to run into scope creep, unexpected complications, and end up doing way more work than what you quoted for. We learned this the hard way. We had a client that we quoted for $3,000 for what we thought was a simple CRM automation and scheduling system. But it turned out that their sale process was fundamentally broken. The software that they were using had the worst API ever. And at the end of the day, they did not even know how to do sales properly. This project turned from what we thought was going to be a 25 hours into a 100 hours project and should have been quoted at $15,000. We had to eat the difference because, that's what we committed to do without scoping properly enough. So here's a solution that now protects us from ever getting burned like this again. First, you need to standardize your pre-audit process. I have a specific checklist and set of questions I go through with every single prospect. It takes around 45 minutes and covers most of the potential gotcha. If you want to access it, you can join our community where we drop resources that we actually use ourselves. The link is going to be in the description for this. The second thing that you can do is have a 15 to 20% budget buffer for anything related to scope creep and unexpected complications. Trust me, there are always unexpected complications or clients asking you for more than what you initially scoped. And the third thing, and this is crucial, get really good at qualifying prospects before you invest time in scoping. Here's what we do. When a discovery call gets booked, I check the information they provide. If they're not a good fit, I straight up cancel the call. And then on the first call, I go through our discovery framework to see what their pain points are, if they're even ready for the automation, and if they have a budget. Four, and this is more advanced, once you get good at selling deals, you can push for more retainer format deals, which will allow you to integrate the whole scoping part inside the project timeline itself, ensuring that you always get paid for scoping and doing projects. That's precisely what we're doing with our huge 20K AR ERP deals. This one on the screen took me over 15 hours to scope and map. Thankfully, thanks to our model, we're getting paid for this as well. I'm not doing 15 hours of scoping of unpaid work. To go back to what I said, if the potential client was ready for automation, if they're qualified and ready, we go into what I call a pre-audit. We ask for a view-only access to the software, gather operational documentation like org chart, SOPs, and we do an assessment based on this. And I never try to spend more than 4 hours on this pre-audit. I also have some cloud projects to help me with this. Finally, what we do is a proposal call where we go over the results and the solution we could build. Sometimes we need another call, sometimes no, it's fine. But most automation agencies have already blown out the sale at this point because of this third problem. You're speaking tech language to business people. If I were selling to other end experts, I could talk about RAG implementation, MCP connectors, vector database, webhook authentication, API connections, all that good stuff. But 99% of business owners have no idea what any of that actually means. And if you use language they don't understand, they will immediately think this is too complicated for us, or they will hate you for making them feel stupid. And they start scrolling their email inbox on the sales calls, and you can actually see they're not paying attention anymore. This is a concept Jim Donovan, the vice chairman at Goldman Sachs, explained in one of his famous lectures, Secrets to Optimal Client Service.
Never use jargon with a client.
I also learned this lesson from a client in the plumbing industry. On our first call, he kept talking about chucks in the truck. I had no idea what he meant, so I just asked. And turns out that's what they call their competitors who are not affiliated with big franchise. So basically solo operators working out of their trucks. So now when I'm selling to other plumbing or field service companies, I can say something like, while the trucks in the truck are still taking 2 to 5 days to get back to leads and writing estimate by hand, you're going to be responding within minutes with professional branded estimates. Who do you think is going to win the job based on this? See how much more powerful that is? I'm speaking their language and I'm painting a picture they can immediately understand. The solution here is quite simple, but requires work. You need to immerse yourself in your target industry. Call people in the industry, reach out on LinkedIn if you have to, offer them $50 for 30 minutes of their time. Tell them that you're researching the industry and want to understand their challenge. Do whatever is needed to achieve what you want. AI can also help you with this. So I'm talking about ChatGPT, Claude. Basically, they can role play as someone who's been in the industry for 10 years and understand the terminology and the pain points that they have. You can ask the AI to teach you about the phrase and the lingo that you need to fit into a potential plumbers conference. So just, assimilating all the lingos that they have. So once you fix those 3 problems in your sales process, I can guarantee you'll close more projects, have an easier time delivering them, and you will get paid more because you evoke more trust and avoid unexpected surprises. If you found the video informative and would like to see more of this, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. You can also join my free school community where I share these frameworks, templates, and the exact resources we use. See you next week.